Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars X-Wing 2nd Edition Delta-7 Aethersprite expansion pack released in 2019. Now the Jedi Starfighter made its first on-screen appearance in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, the Jedi Starfighter is a very interesting ship. First of all, it had no hyperspace engines. Believe it or not, it did need an external drive, as we saw in the Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Jedi Starfighters had a nice ring with 2 engines on it, and that's pretty awesome. Another way it would get from point A to point B is to be on a carrier, such as a Republic attack cruiser. Also, another fun fact is the Delta-7 really didn't have a lot of room. As you can tell from watching the films, it's a very thin ship, and because of this, it couldn't fit an astromech the way a normal ship like an X-wing could. Instead, the R2 unit would be hardwired into the ship itself, basically making it an extension of the droid. And that's very interesting. I like that idea. Now, later on, when new Jedi Starfighter models were made, astromechs could fit in normally, and hopefully Fantasy Flight Games makes some of them. So that's enough fun facts for now. For the size of this particular model, we're looking at about 1.5 inches long. It's very small, but just like all these bad boys, they are jam-packed full of detail. So you all know the drill by now. We're going to take a look at the dials, tokens, cards, check out the stand, look at that mold and paint, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now it's time for that dial token roll call. 1 maneuver dial. 4 ship tokens, which are double-sided. 1 focus token. 1 stress token. 3 shield tokens. 2 lock tokens, number 16. 2 charge tokens, 3 force charge tokens, 1 dial ID token, and finally 3 ship ID tokens. So that does it for all the dials and tokens. So now let's take a look at the cards. And now starting off looking at the upgrade cards, like always I will read the name of the card, and then if you would like to pause the video and read the paragraph below, by all means go ahead and continue when you're done. First up, Battle Meditation, Brilliant Evasion, Collaborated Laser Targeting, Delta-7B, R3 Astromech, and finally R4P Astromech. So that does it for all the upgrade cards. Now let's take a look at the ship cards. And now looking at those ship cards, first up we have Ahsoka Tano, Anakin Skywalker, Barriss Offee, then we have Luminara. And you know, looking at all the beautiful artwork on here, it just makes me wish I was better at customization, because I would buy a couple of these and paint them up real good to match all these. Hopefully Fantasy Flight Games could release an expansion that just has different colored ships, because that would be awesome. Then finally we have Jedi Knight, and I love the artwork on these cards. They are beautiful. So that does it for all the ship cards. So now let's take a look at the quick build cards. And now for those quick build cards, here's the first one, and here is the second. So that does it for all the cards. So now let's take a quick look at the stand. And just like other X-Wing ships, you get 2 pegs that you combine to make 1 rod. Peg it in the base like so, grab your ship, be gentle, these are fragile, slide it in, and just like that, you're good to go. And now let's take a look at the mold on this bad boy. The Delta-7 is a very nicely done ship in my opinion, very small but very jam-packed full of detail. So like in all my reviews, we're going to go over all the major points of the ship, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see all those fine details. So let's begin. Let's look at the back first. We have our engines, which are beautifully done. I love all the little pipes and hoses. Awesome, and those engines are on the bottom, extend to about the center of the ship. Here we have the peg port for our stand. Bottom laser cannons, beautiful line work, and mold, and nothing is flat on here. Raised sections, a couple recesses, beautiful work. On the sides of the ship, you can see it is flat on one side. Just an amazing job. Again, we have our engines. Pretty sick. We have our cockpit. Astromech droid. Top laser cannons. Republic symbol. And just covered with nice detailing. Fantastic work. So that covers all the major sections. There's really not too much to talk about. It is very small. So now let's get a close-up look. Now having that closer look, let's begin with the engine section for once. As you can see, it's recessed in, and tons of little pipes and hoses. This is amazing work, it really is. Fantastic. For our engines, we have detailing going around the thrusters, with a little dab of paint in there. That is nice. Now turning the ship over to the bottom section, we have our engines which are around it. And look at this right here. A trench filled with little modules. That is sick. Pegport for the stand. Beautiful line work all over the ship. Some raised sections and shapes as well. Coming down, more line work. Cuts for the laser cannons, which are popping up, and that looks sick. Very nicely done. I love the line work and paneling on here. Beautiful stuff. Now coming back to the engines, we have this section right here, which is molded a little bit. It's mostly recessed. Then we have the sides, which are basically flat. Nothing to write home about. We do have the cuts for the laser cannons. But besides that, basically nothing to write home about. That looks sharp. Pretty neat. Now again on this side, pretty flat until we get to that other recess, leading back to the engine section. Then on the bottom we have this nice little fin section here, which connects to the cockpit, which is very nicely done. We have this nice fin on the top. Guess we could say it's the dorsal fin. Some line work on the sides. Beautiful cockpit canopy. Very nice. Very rounded. I like that quite a bit. And now the rest of the ship is similar to the bottom. We have some raised sections, tons of line work, some recesses, cuts for the laser cannons, and nothing is flat on here. As you can see, everything pops, and that is beautiful. Very nicely done. And again, our laser cannons are raised, as we saw right here. Pretty cool profile. Then on this side, we have our astromech dome. Very nice. It would have been cool to put like a little black thin of paint right there for the eye. But what are you going to do? All in all, I think it looks great. So that does it for the mold. Hopefully I covered everything. This guy may be small, but like I keep saying, it is jam-packed full of detail. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at the paint on the Delta-7, this baby features 7 different colors, believe it or not. First 2 colors up is a nice gray and yellow. It's the main color scheme on the ship, and in my opinion, it looks pretty cool. On the back, also on the sides, you have a little paint bleed right here. Besides that, the rest of the ship is nice. And then we have the bottom section. Beautiful job. Next color is blue for the engines. Now, I was not expecting this, and it looks fantastic. Pretty dope. Now we have silver for the astromech dome, black and white for the Republic symbol, and a glossy black for the cockpit window, which in my opinion is very nice. And our final color is a beautiful black wash, which fills in all these little lines, nooks and crannies, and really brings this ship to life. This is a beautiful piece. I really enjoy it quite a bit. And that's everything I have to say about the mold and the paint. So now let's put this baby back on a stand, compare it to some other ships, and then we'll conclude the video. And now for a quick size comparison with the Delta-7 Aethersprite expansion pack seen in the center. Firstly, on the left-hand side, we have the Delta-7 given to us with the Guardians of the Republic set, which is an awesome set. We're going to look at that in the near future. And these two models are identical in every way except paint. As you can see, the Guardians of the Republic gave us Obi-Wan Kenobi's paint scheme, as opposed to Anakin's, and these go great together. Then on the right-hand side, we have the Sith Infiltrator, which in my opinion is a beautiful ship. Nicely done. The wings can open and shut. By the way, these are all released in 2019. And as you can see, these are all to scale, and the Jedi ships are just, oh, they're like peas compared to this bad boy. Just a great job all around. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars X-Wing 2nd Edition Delta-7 Aethersprite Expansion Pack. And I'm very happy that Fantasy Flight Games is finally making Clone Wars / prequel era ships. This is amazing. I've been waiting for this ever since I started collecting the original version of the game. So is this expansion good? Absolutely. First of all, you get everything you need to add one Delta-7 to your squad. And I think it's a great ship. And you have a lot of different pilots you could choose from and upgrades. It's actually really neat. Now, dealing with the ship itself, my god, the mold is beautiful. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. And for the paint, I think it's another home run. I love the color choices, and the black wash really brings it to life. Now, in conclusion, I think this is a beautiful ship and a great addition to the X-Wing game. I will stand by what I said before, though. If Fantasy Flight Games ever made a giant expansion with several different colored Jedi starfighters, I would buy that in a heartbeat. So that's everything I have to say about this beautiful looking ship today. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.